You may have seen my other videos on my DIY kitchen remodel project. If you haven't, I'll put a link to the playlist above. As you can see, the butcher block countertops have been placed above some partially constructed cabinets right there. There's a corner kitchen cabinet sink project. That's another video as well. Right here, I took some scrap butcher block and created a pot hanging rack. By the way, the paintwork behind it is not complete. But let's zoom in here. That's just a strip of leftover butcher block countertop. And I combined that with those brush chrome hooks, and those are actually somewhat lengthy brush chrome drawer pulls. And I linked 3 of them together on top of the butcher block scrap piece, and that ends up creating an over 2-foot long bar, which is going to be plenty of length to hang up pots and pans and pot holders and ladles and spatulas and pretty much everything you need to grab quickly and easily without having to rummage through, your kitchen drawers. And it also looks great, I think. I mean, you've got, a utility bar or a pot hanging bar, which basically matches the butcher block countertops. Now here I just placed the drawer pulls on top of the front surface of the butcher block scrap piece, and I just wanted to make sure they were marked precisely where I wanted to drill holes to attach those drawer pulls. So I made little stencils for the for where I'm going to end up putting those drawer pulls, because it's key to get these level. You want them to, match each other end to end. And I've got to drill these holes perfectly in the center of where I've stenciled out the outlines of the drawer pulls. Drilling out the mounting holes for the drawer pulls is a 2-stage process. First, you need to drill all the way through the butcher block, which takes some high-speed drilling and a little bit of pressure, because this is hardwood maple. It's a serious hardwood. You've really got to, apply some pressure. And ideally, I would have had a drill press, but I didn't have one when I made this video. So there's that. I'm drilling all the way through here, and then I'm going to drill about maybe a quarter of the way into the back of the butcher block, a little recess for the bolt head, because I don't want the head bumping up against the wall and preventing the butcher block piece from residing right up against the wall. Now that we've got, in this case, a half dozen holes as well as recesses for these bolts, as you can see right here, and you can see that bolt head. That's why I needed to drill those recesses. In fact, the recesses have to be wide enough for those washers. And then we'll slip the bolts through the back, and the washer fits in there, the bolt head fits in there. Now we can mount the butcher block right up against the kitchen wall. It's crucial to make sure you get the holes drilled in exactly the right spots, because you want to get the end impression of a bar that's over 2 foot long. So, you want the ends to meet precisely like we have here. So from a distance, this looks like one complete single piece. And then I'm going to drill 2 other holes near the top of the butcher block so I can mount it on the kitchen wall. You can see there's the left hole. And once I'm done mounting the entire assembly, I'll put a little wood putty in these cavities and just cover it up a little bit. Those brushed chrome S-hooks that you see not only look great, but they can handle the weight of some pretty hefty cooking utensils, as you can see. I'll put a link to purchase those in the comment section below. All right, on to the next project. This is an 8-foot piece of butcher block, and these are scrap pieces left over from cutting up that butcher block. And as you can see, I have 2 triangular pieces, one from each slice of the butcher block. So what I did was I originally planned to put those pieces right here as I'm describing, and then I decided not to do that. What I did was I created this, a beautiful shelf, which now resides over our kitchen sink. Now I used the 2 triangular pieces you saw earlier along with several other little pieces of scrap, and I glued them together using wood glue, and then I filled in the gaps between all the pieces using a mixture of wood glue and butcher block sawdust. So that mixture fills in the gaps and creates the bonds that you see here. You can kind of see the gaps, but they're not very visible. And honestly, most people really aren't going to pay much attention to those. So that's what we have now, a gorgeous corner piece of butcher block on a shelf. By the way, I used silicone caulk to bond this butcher block shelf down to the surface below it. All right, let's look at my third scrap butcher block project. These are DIY drink coasters made from the leftover material of a maple backsplash. Now you want to make these for yourself, or you may decide to give them as gifts, which is great because they're economical as you're using leftover pieces of butcher block, and they're very good looking. I'm measuring these at 4 inches in each direction, which is an ideal size for drink coasters. It's convenient to use a backsplash because the backsplash is already going to be 4 inches wide coming from the manufacturer. So all you need to do is cut a set of 4 4-inch lengths. And then once you make the cuts, just give them a coating of boiled linseed oil like I'm doing here. I recommend wearing gloves when you do this. And just put a little bit on each side and on each edge of these coasters. And then let them sit overnight for about 24 hours. And that lets the linseed oil soak in and really treat these raw pieces of butcher block. And as you can see side by side, the piece treated with the linseed oil has a nice rich texture and look compared to the raw untreated maple. These make a great gift idea because you can not only hand them out at parties should you decide to do so, but you can also ship them pretty economically. Just wrap them up in some wax paper, throw some gift wrap around them, throw them in a box, and off they go. And everybody likes to enjoy a beverage, either alcoholic or non-alcoholic, so everybody can use coasters. If you go on Etsy and do a search for wooden coasters, you'll find these by the hundreds. So save yourself a little money and make them yourself. And they hold hot beverages, hi Santa, or chilled beverages with ease and style. So there you have it, my 3 scrap butcher block project ideas. I hope they helped you out. If they did, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.